Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm talking with Baz Swales. Baz served with 39 Regiment RA, joining in the year 2000 and only leaving recently in 2024. Barry tells us what it was like joining and serving. Barry served with 39 Regiment and 26 Regiment on the MLRS, completing tours of Northern Ireland, Cyprus and Afghanistan. Barry tells us what it was like, some funny stories, some not so funny stories, and he's looking forward to the future. He was serving at the time when we recorded this, but was basically on his termination leave. So, yeah, some interesting opinions, let's say. I hope you enjoy this one, and look out for the next one. If you like this podcast, or the previous ones, please consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Frankie'sPod. It just goes to help fund the software and the hosting. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Tonight I'm talking to Baz Swales. So I knew Baz from 39 Regiment before I got out. Hey Baz, how are you doing? Yeah, great. It's good seeing you again, honestly. Even though we've just spent about 20 minutes talking. It is, I have to say that, you know what I mean? Right, so it's the usual one.
Yeah.
We'll just ask the same type of questions I've asked everybody else. So if you just tell us like where you grew up and why did you join the army?
Yeah, mate. So I grew up in a little town called Gisborough, which is next to Middlesbrough. So yeah, I'm not a smoggy, but I'm a woolly bark. It's a nice little town, and yeah, I had a nice little upbringing up there. From a council house, but we've done well, the whole family, since then. Why I joined the army? So I joined the army because a lot of my family. So my dad's got 10 brothers, 7 sisters.
How many?
And yeah,
No telly.
10 brothers, 7 sisters. No, not back in the days, mate. So my granddad, my dad's dad, and his 4 brothers, they served in the war. I've got a little interesting story about one of my great uncles, one of his brothers, in a minute. So he joined, and then I had 2 of my dad's brothers who joined, both paras. And out of my 72 cousins, I've had 12 join the army, 6 Navy, and 4 RAF. So a lot of our family have gone in the service, including my brother. I don't know if you met my brother Frankie. He was at 39 as well. But obviously he got MD'd in 2015. So yeah, so why I joined the army as well, like, was basically because of that, and it was just one of them things that, like, I was doing shit at school, and basically I wanted to make myself like a better person, because all my friends at the time were doing used to smoke that tax stuff and all that, and do drugs, and I've never done any of that, and I thought I need to get away from this. So when I was 15-year-old, me and my best mate from Gisborough, who also went to 39, called Dave Cowan, we went to Army Careers together, did all the interviews, passed all that, and then within a week we were sent up to Glencorse up in Edinburgh. Did that, and we were both successful, and we got a start date even though we were still at school. So we did this in the January time, and we were told that we were going to go to Harrogate in the September of 2000. So yes, obviously then I left school. Didn't bother. I did not bother anything with my GCSEs. Couldn't be asked.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I knew I was getting a job. Yeah, I thought, fuck it, I'm getting a job. Like, telling I was going to be a tank driver, because obviously I didn't know what I was going to be at the time. And then so we end up joining Harrogate at the same time. Spent 42 weeks there, I think it is. End up getting a junior Lance Jack in my 42 years there. and I enjoyed it straight away. I absolutely enjoyed Harrogate. From Harrogate, obviously went down to Larkhill. Spent in total about 4 months there, 5 months, because obviously we were doing all the courses, and I was what did I do there? So I did my basics, I did more education, and obviously all my licenses. But whilst I was there, once I passed my B theory, I went on to my C and C+C. I was sent up at Leconfield. So whilst I was at Leconfield, I passed my C first time, and then I went on. Then I went on C plus C, and then obviously when I went on to my C plus C, we got a different instructor. He was a bit of a weirdo. Like I never like really clicked with him straight away, and he was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, like I'm from Gisborough. It's like not far from me. It's about an hour drive, if that." He went, "I tell you what, why don't we have a drive over to your house in the big truck with a trailer, park outside your house and go have a brew with your mum and dad and that?" And I was like, okay. So cut long story short, I arranged it all, and then we went. Went there, but at the time, my auntie was there at my mum and dad's house. So me and this instructor having a brew and all, a bacon bapping out of my mum and that, and then we left. And then halfway like back on our journey, the instructor like just turned to me and went, "Your auntie's fit, isn't she?" And I was like, "You what, mate?" I said, "It's my auntie." I said, like, just leave it. He went, "No, she'll get it. And I was like, I couldn't bear with it no more. So I slammed the brakes on. I went, "Please stop it. Like, it's my auntie, like, you're an instructor, like, you should be talking like this." And we had a bit of a Barney, and what do I call it? He reported me to the Lexfield Squadron leader at the time, and I was sent back to basically was RTU'd back to Larkhill for insubordination to a civvy, basically, because obviously we got the rank of a captain or whatever. And I ended up doing 2 weeks ROPS at Larkhill. So I enjoyed that 2 weeks, and then from there, obviously, I went up to 3-9, mate. So yeah,
So
that's
did
where I
you
really
did
joined the
you pick
army.
3-9, or was it picked for you? Or did you pick it because it was closer to Gisborough?
No, so originally I was joining like Dragoons because they were based at the time in Marley down in Norfolk. And when I was at Harrogate, I always wanted to be like a tank driver. I was fascinated with tanks. And when I was at Harrogate, the funny enough, my section commander was from like Dragoons as well, so I was quite lucky. Anyway, a lad called Mick Wilkinson, and he came up to me. He was like, "Look, have you got any family in the regiment?" Because we were overmanned at the time. Like we're not taking much people on at the moment now. And I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, no, I haven't." He went, "Look, go for your second choice." He went, "What's your second choice?" I went, "Royal Artillery." And I didn't know nothing about the Royal Artillery really. I've always fought like Dragoons. And anyway, we had a bit of a careers brief at Harrogate, and I was looking at the AS90s at the time, and then one of my best friends in training, who also joined 3-9, he was from Newcastle. He went, "Oh, mate, Newcastle's this, Newcastle's that. You'll love it." And I was like, "Will I?" I said, "It's close to home. I want to get away from home." He went, "No, Newcastle's amazing, mate. Like, you'll love it." So that's what really turned me to 3-9. Like, one of my friends was like, "Go there for the party, go there for the nightlife." And obviously, over the 16 years I spent in Newcastle, or 16 years I spent in Newcastle, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekends was partying. Yeah.
And why not? It'd be the same. It'd be the same in any regiment you went to. You'd have found something to do that, you know. But so how did when you got to Harrogate?
Yeah.
How much of a shock to your system was it, or was it a gentle, like, learning curve into being in the army because it was at Harrogate instead of straight into like a man service or whatever?
Yeah. So I found it a bit weird actually because obviously we're all like 16-year-olds and that, and then we passed out. And Bailsy, this is incorrect what you said. We had the biggest pass out since World War Two. We had three companies. All right, Peninsula Waterloo and Cambrai, and so yeah, when I left there and got to Lark Hill, and I'm like sharing a room like with a 32-year-old bloke who was like same age as my uncle and that, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, like this is a bit weird, you know. But like
Fucking hell, is he a
it
pedo?
was a shock. It was a shock, and like no. So obviously he had the nickname Grandad. So yeah, and it was a bit of a shock, but I settled in really well, mate. To be honest, and the 4.5 months I did, or just short of 5 months, I did at Larkhill. I really enjoyed it. Again, I liked Salisbury, and yeah, so it was really nice actually, mate. To be honest.
So what was it like when he got a 3.9 as a young sprog then?
Well, so I rocked up. On a Thursday afternoon. I always remember this. I rocked up on a Thursday afternoon and went to the base at the time. It was Keith Field. Obviously, you worked for as our assistant, and he was like, "Oh, who are you?" and whatnot. And he went, "Right, I've got nothing for you till Monday, so come back Monday." So I was like, "Fucking hell!" So nice one long weekend. And anyway, so I got my room sorted and all that, and then went home. Came back on a Monday, and I was put straight away onto my MLS Level 2 course. Bear in mind, I've never seen a launcher. Never seen a launcher ever. And I was whacked on a Level 2 course. And I had a full screw there. Everybody 3.9 will know back in the day, a lad called Brian Wade. And yeah, he was on the course. It was just, it was fast paced basically back then. It was like literally you rocked up, because you had your training, so you're driving and all that as well. Literally, you whacked them straight on courses. And look, I've been in the regiment just over a month, and I was level 2 trained MRS. And then from there, they didn't really progress me in the launches until obviously I got the rank of full screw. So once I done my launcher course, because I had my C and C plus C background, because I did my C plus C within the regiment. After that course, they put me on drops. So I was working like obviously with a lad called Psylocke, who was a sergeant at the time, and I think I was R7 101. So yeah, he was always in charge of me, and he looked after me, and he was a nice lad. And I enjoyed my time in the drops. And from there, I went back obviously to the launch side. Yeah.
So did you want to, I'll start that bit again. Cut that bit out. Fucking hell. Yeah. I was going to
Mate,
say, so going back to the launches, did you want to do that or?
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, well, I said to you in the past, I never knew nothing about 3.9. But then when I found out it was all about rockets and missiles and all that, like obviously I wanted to do that. And when I got into the unit and I did that, and I thought I'd go straight away into the launches and like obviously go on like fire and run exercises and that. But then like I was a bit gutted when they were like, "Oh no, we've got no space," because back then, and this what really worked with 3.9. You had like 9 launchers in the battery, but you had like 12 DCs. You had 15 drivers. You had like 16 like fucking level 3 trained people. So like it was always overmanned, and where now, where I've just left, where you're fighting for fucking drivers. There's literally 2 drivers in the battery. You're fighting for operators, and every time you can't even get a battery out on exercise at this moment in time due to obviously what happened with COVID. A lot of the courses have been affected, and basically you can't even get a full battery out. You can't even get six. You can't even get 6 launches out at this moment in time within
That's bad.
2-6 regiment.
That's bad. I mean, that's plus. I
It
mean,
is,
the man's been reduced and recruitment's very good, and this, that, and
yeah.
the other, the environment, and
Mm-hmm.
giving half the kit away to people in Ukraine as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously we've had a big thing with that. So obviously we've got six. Well, I'm saying I'm obviously officially out with me, but 2-6 now. I've got 6 launches out in Ukraine, and it was called Operation Spring Generation, and I was in charge of the first lot as a senior DC. So obviously I had 6 launches to get squared away with a little team, which was known as the Tiger team. So like we're working non-stop to get these launches by the deadline sent up to Ukraine. So obviously they can use them. We had the Ukrainians over, and they were getting taught by the SME, the TIG and the SMIGs and whatnot as well. So obviously they knew the system. Once we got the launches squared away and sent over, so obviously we've got 6 of there now. And the way it works is that every 2 to 3 months, 2 launchers come back to the regiment to get serviced by our REME, serviced by us as well. So they've always got 4 in theatre working. All right. So the first lot came back, I was put in charge as well because we had no fucking DCs there. Or Baz, 2 were coming back, square away, came through the MEIs, the 2 yearlies, get them all service ready for REME. I was like, yeah, happy days, mate, not an issue. So me and my mate, so obviously I've got me little sprog to jack the cab. Whilst I jacked the cab, I was like, even all these fucking things like fall. I was like, what's that? Anyway, cut on so short, syringes. We're finding syringes in the launches, so the Ukrainians are over there, high as a kite, using our equipment. Yeah, and it also happened on the second lot. Obviously, I was in charge of that one. But yeah, when the launches came over again, we had more syringes found in the launches. And but the way like obviously we approached it is like these guys are up there fighting the Russians. Obviously they're scared, and yes, it's wrong, but they don't really want to be there. So what are they actually doing? You know what I mean? I think they're trying to take away the fear, and they're sitting there.
It's still, you
so they're
don't.
sat there.
Everything you see in on the news and in the papers and stuff like that wouldn't lead you to go down that route. You think that way, you know what I mean? So it'll be a shock to people hearing that. It is me. I know. I was quite what? Wow. Yeah. I mean, so let's go back to 3-9 again. I turned up there in.
Yeah.
When did I get there? 2006. Yeah, 2006. I got there, and I found that. Not trying to be derogatory to the regiment or anything like that, but I found that regiment fucking weird, really, really weird. Coming from a field unit and another types of units and rocking up there, they were so, how can I put it, clicky. It's very, very clicky, but not just like within the batteries or the batteries being clicky against each other, within them, you know. But the whole regiment was. It was like it didn't.
Yeah.
It kind of didn't acknowledge the rest of the army type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
I suppose because you'd been, there was only using the TA doing that job. You just didn't go out like with battle groups and stuff like that, so you didn't get to see a larger picture, a bigger picture. I mean, you'd have noticed the difference when it all changed to the batteries going to different regiments and stuff like that. The way they changed the way they worked, and you've seen the battle groups, you've seen the different formations and stuff like that, and the way things worked. With 3-9 being a div asset, you didn't get really to see anything else. I mean, I did one little exercise. I did 2 little exercises really. One was up at Scotland, when I got there. Up at what was it? It was you were on the range. It was just a shooting one. I was back in doing bloody radios or something. I think they just stuck me in a room and said sit there for 2 weeks. And then I went out with us to Catterick on the CP. Neil just went, you haven't got a clue what's happening. I said, I haven't got a fucking idea what he's doing. He just went, sit outside. He goes, we'll bring you sandwiches and brews every now and again. Nice one. And I was just sat there and I was just like, I haven't got a clue what's going on here. You know, he's got his launches flying about. Neil's sat in the back giving it with his fucking pen and art and working things out. And they're going over there doing that. And I'm like, who wants a brew? I was just like, I was, very, very cost-effective brew boy type of thing. or an expensive brew boy, if you want to put it that way. But that's what I found with the regiment. It just didn't. I don't know. It just kind of didn't gel with the rest of everything I'd seen. Did you find anything?
I'll be open and honest with you. Yeah. So when I rocked up, like you was mentioned there, the clicks. Oh, there was clicks. There was clicks in the battery. There was clicks in batteries against batteries. Of course there was. And but the clicks were always led by the bullies or the big people. All right. I won't say no names. All right. However, the bullies aren't really bullies when you obviously you get a little bit bigger, you've been in a little bit longer, and you turn on them, and they don't like it. They don't like it. You see. Yeah, Frankie, I'm not going to say no names.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I know what you mean. But it's to be honest, it kind of happens in every regiment, but never so much as what I'd seen in that one. In reality, it was.
Yeah,
and I think it is just because they were so on their own. You know what I mean? That you didn't.
I think, Frankie, again as well, we were left alone. We were out the limelight. You see, right? And I'll tell you now as well. So obviously when 39 closed down in 2015, and I went as part of 132 battery and went to 26. So 26 was based in Manta at the time, and obviously we were going out every 2 years. Well, we were there for 2 years in part of Manta. Not 3 years actually, because we moved over in 2019 down to Larkhill. So in 3 years, we as seniors and that were going over for mess dues and study days and obviously competitions, Dempsey Cups and all. So obviously the whole back would go for that. And when we came 2-6 and we're all based in Larkhill, obviously you got your third there. You got first. You got first there. Sorry, not third. First, you got 19. You got 14 and all. So because you're in a big garrison, all right, and you got 4732. The amount of trolls that come in, and we were like, fucking hell, really? And we were never getting left alone. Where back in Newcastle, we were left alone. You know, no one bothered with us. Yeah, at the time we were the only regiment in 2-6 or in the all army, diff asset with the launchers, based at Larkhill, but we're getting pulled right away to go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that, and we can't even do a fully exercise, a regiment exercise, because we've got people on trolls all over the place. Where if that was 2-6 based in Newcastle, I think it would be a different story.
I get that.
Massively.
So up in Newcastle then, so you've turned up there, you end up back on the launches. Like we discussed earlier, or we've just hinted on then, there wasn't like a lot of stuff to do for the launches, really. I mean, you just didn't get to go and do that many exercises and stuff like that. You just did the normal training, build up, and, you know. So what you did do quite a few tours, didn't you? Like Northern Ireland, Cyprus, and stuff like that. I mean, is that famous picture of you? It was either Northern Ireland train. They want to run a Gunner magazine, and every time you see like in the Daily Star, the generic image of a soldier, it's always you.
Yeah. So that was me. Yeah, that was me in the Lower Shankill, 2002. That was. Great tour.
Was that your first tour then? Yeah.
Served there with. So that was my first tour. Yeah. So I just turned 18, and that was it. Like straight over to Belfast. Obviously did all the pre-training and cap rick and whatnot. And what a tour that was! I'll tell you what. Out of all of them, I'd say Ireland. Maybe because it's my first one, I'm not too sure. But that was my favourite tour out of all of them. We were always busy, constantly busy. And I'll always remember being like 18-year-old, like on my 2 days off a month or whatever it was, what we got, getting loaded into a van with a Glock down your strides, walking to River Island and like do your shopping. You know, and you felt like Clint Eastwood walking around Belfast. with 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 a Glock, you know, a Browning. So yeah, but again, amazing tour. But on that tour, I had a bit of an issue. So obviously, I was the nig, and I always remember I've been on patrols for the last 5 days, night patrols. So night patrols started at seven at night till 7 in the morning. He did it for five nights. So I was on my last rotation, and I finished it, and I was just getting all my like my grab bag and all my riot gear out to put into my room because I was going on to. I can't remember what I was going on to, but I wasn't going to go on guard. But then there was a bombardier there called Stretch Hopkins, and he was like, "Oh, oi, Nick, come here. What are you on now?" And I was going to do my admin and that, and get some sleep. He went, "No, go get your kit on, press your kit. You're coming on guard." I was like, "I've just come off nights and that," and he was like, "No, you're on guard." I was thinking, "Fucking hell." So anyway, within half an hour, I turned my kit round, pressed down to Mackler, and then went on to the front gate. And then obviously from the front gate, you went on to the front gate Sanger. So obviously you got that interaction. You got the one guy there, and you got the guy there, so you can talk to each other. And the heating never worked in that in that Sanger. It was fucking freezing. So from doing front gate Sanger, I had to move then to 8 or Sanger, all right, which looked over the whole of Gerwood. It was high as fuck. Couldn't open the windows because obviously it was a threat, like obviously getting shot at and whatnot. So I'm in this tower, and I think I can only remember about 15 minutes of it, and that's it. I pass out. Well, I fell asleep, and I got rudely awakened by the Lieutenant Colonel. Sorry, Lieutenant Colonel. The lieutenant who a lad called Doug Davison, who was like, "Oh, you fucker!" I was like, "Oh God." He went, "You were asleep there, weren't you?" I went, "Oh no, sir, no, I weren't. He went, "Just tell me the truth." I went, "Yeah, I was, yeah." So anyway, cut long story short, I had to finish that 8 Sanger off because we couldn't relieve me. I then had to go into rear gate Sanger from that, and then from that I went in front of my BSM. A lad called Eddie Edwards, big scar down his face, scary bloke, and he just started shouting at me in my face, nose to nose, spitting at me while I was talking. And he's like, "Yeah, fucking bastard," and all that, and "You could have done this, you could have done that." And he whacked me with his pay stick, which dropped me, and whilst I was on the floor, hit it over my back. And went, "That's it now, you're fucked." And I was like, "Oh God, here we go." I'm in pain at this point. And anyway, within 2 days, I was in front of the CO, and I was sent. Well, I was awarded 7 days nick in Rath Aldergrove in Belfast. Obviously, 18-year-old getting sent to Nick. I was thinking, fucking hell, like, I'm going to prison. Like, shit. And I heard all these stories, people telling me, like, "Oh, you're going to get this, you're going to get that." I was thinking, oh, no, I was shitting myself. But Rath Aldergrove, run by the Rath, innit? Got there. I was able to do whatever I want. So literally, I had a 7-day holiday in Rath Aldergrove, do what I want. I thought I was going to go there, get beasted, get marched around and all that. No, I picked what I want to eat, and they made it for me. I was told I was allowed to have 2 cigarettes a day. I was buying 20 cigarettes a day, and I was smoking 20 cigarettes a day. So, in a way, I had a 7-day holiday, and then went back to reality after that, you know. But I never, ever in my whole career have I slept on duty or slept on stag.
So it worked then, yeah. I think I was about 18 when the first time I went to Nick. Yeah, that was a bit different to that one. And I was a bit older when I went again, and then I went again, and I had a court martial and went again. Yeah, I was a bit of a twat when I was a young Scotty. Spent a lot of time in the guard room in Mansa Barracks. Funny enough, that's where I started off with 4-7 with before 2-6 were. So Christ, I'm getting old, mate. That was some time ago. Jesus. Yeah, but Go to Slow. I loved it. So anyway, I really loved Go to Slow. Just wanted to get that one in there. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I had a few nights in Gutterslow whilst I was over there, and it is good. I really like it. Nails
They were
Bar.
all different then. We had the Irish bar. All the ones we
With it.
used to go to were closed, mate.
Yeah. So anyway, after we finished Gerwood, it was quite quiet. We had a few lads go back to Ireland after that, but it wasn't a full battery. But the next tour for us then was Up Tosca in Cyprus in 2005, 2006, winter tour. And what was I going to say about that? So Up Tosca was like really good, but not. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Ireland. Even though we were left alone, so obviously the whole regiment went to Up Tosca. Most of them was based in Little Palace, but 176 were based up at Umpol, MFR, and we were part of the main force reserves. So literally, we were working, what 2 days a week, if that. And we were going out on. We were patrolling the buffer zone with the Argentinians in the Gazelles and the Lynx. And basically, we was always doing the riot training in case it ever kicked off. So that was our role over there, where we had all the other lads from the other batteries, like 7-4 at the time and 132 at the time up there. They were patrolling like Cyprus itself, the Little Palace and that around there. We were just left alone. A good thing about Cyprus as well, like obviously,
No,
Cyprus,
I only
Frank,
went there for a leadership course. I never did a UN tour.
Yeah. So obviously, they give you the option to stay there for your R&R or fly home. And obviously, I stayed there, and obviously, they give you money to stay there. They get you a villa, and obviously, so what they all we were doing was when the lads were on R&R, we were going on to their villa, partying, and then we were coming back to camp, and we were doing our duties. So basically, it was a 6-month party, you know. So when everyone's on R&R, we're all down there, and every night partying in the I can't remember what the bar was called. There was a bar. Al Brown would know as well. Sorry. We had one night where there was me, Al Brown, Neil Jennings, Mark Bradshaw. We were all steaming in the bar, and we ran out of drink. But we learned how to break into the bar, lift the bars off, and put the bars back in. So we lifted the bars out, slid over the bar, got all this drink out, partying until like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then obviously they had a stock check next day. And because we were last 4 or 5 sitting there, we were in front of the BC at the time. And I, obviously being the Lance Jack, I took it on the chin for all the full screws.
Shit rolls downhill, man, innit?
It did, mate. Yes, it did.
So there was an incident on that tour, wasn't there? So didn't somebody get shot or something? Or was that must have been the previous one? Somebody got shot in the arse.
I think you're going about when a lad called Neil Emery got shot in the arse. I heard about it. I'm not too sure how true it is. Apparently, either raising a flag or stealing a flag, and I think that was in the back end of 1997, 1995 or something like that. Yeah, but he was a 3-9 guy, and he got shot in the arse, I believe, and he was a staffy in 3-9 when I was there.
Yeah. I mean, I know it happened.
So that was like quite.
I couldn't remember which tour it was on.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't that tour, mate. It was quite that tour, to be honest. The only thing we had on there was getting pissed.
Yeah, Bales has told us some of the stories where he was at, and he come. It's like one of them tours that you're supposed to save money on and come back in debt.
Well, I'll tell you this now. So that was my plan, because obviously I did it in Ireland because you weren't allowed to spend your money really. So I thought, oh, gleaming, I'll go to Cyprus, I'll save all this money and all that. But because obviously we had all the time in our partying, I'd gone over with about $4,000 in my bank, what I saved at the time as a young sprog. And then within 2 months, I was ringing my mum and dad for an advance. And I was like, my mum and dad, like, what, you spent all that money you took over? I went, yeah, I bought this, I bought that. I was lying to them, like. I was like, oh, I bought this for you all and all that, and I'll bring it back when I come home. And so they advanced me. So when I came back, I was like, literally, I was about $2,500 in debt with my mum and dad at the time. But hey, I was only young at the time. So
you only live once, as I say, and all that.
Yeah.
So you just got back from there, back to camp, and back onto the launches. And again, nothing was really happening, was it? It was fairly dead.
It was, mate, yeah. It was not until 2000 So, I'm trying to think now. Actually, so whilst we were in Cyprus in 2006, Christmas, obviously Iraq was kicking off. And a battery, I can't remember which battery it was now, within the unit was getting re-rolled, and they went over to Iraq. So we had people in Cyprus, people in Iraq. But apart from that, it was really quiet until obviously when Afghan kicked off in 2006, 7.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big change in the regiment then. I mean, I noticed it. I mean, I'd come back from Iraq in 2006 to come to, join 39. And then I obviously ended up doing the job I was doing in it with the RCMOs. And then it was a case of, right, GMLRS and the other thing. You can mention, you're allowed to talk about that thing, aren't you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
God, yeah. Do you remember when? Because we weren't allowed to talk about it at the time, were we? And no one was allowed to mention it. Yeah.
No,
and it was on a TV show where they were interviewing people out in Afghan, and I think there was ATO, and this guy was briefing his ATO team, and he goes, yeah, so we're going out tomorrow. We're going to be looking at Exacta, and it just carried on with the briefing, and the shit hit the fan. I don't know if you're aware of that, but the shit really hit the fan.
No,
yeah. So they mentioned that it was on the news, on this TV show on BBC on the night. I come into work the next morning at RHQ, and they were going mental. It had come down from the top. Make sure your lads don't mention anything, this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. The CO was running out like a blue-ass fly because it fucking, honestly, I was like, what's going on? They asked me, shut the door.
Yeah.
Leave them to it. I was like, yeah, fucking right. And it was basically because this big secret thing that we had, and not because of what it was because we'd got it off, was now broad news to everyone, because people were obviously going, well, what's that then about? And started inquiring about it and stuff like that. And again, it wasn't the system; it was where it was originated from.
But within the regiment, it was quite quiet though. It was kept secret, because I remember I didn't train on it until about a year it'd been there, and we had people getting trained on it, and they weren't allowed to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't allowed to say this, say that. And I always remember where it'd come out the coney hanger at the back, and it had they had barricades off, so you couldn't even see it. You know what I mean? Like, it had special stuff on it where you couldn't even see it if you weren't trained on it. So it was always kept hush within the regiment as well.
It was a good capability, but it was, like I said, the secret wasn't really the kit. The secret was the other bit, and people can put 2 and 2 together and work it out themselves. I'm not saying it. So when did you do your first tour of Afghan then?
Yes. So I did my first tour, the summer tour of 2008. I was there with a really good bunch of lads. So we started off in Fob Price, which is always nice. We were there for we were only there though for 2 months, actually. Not even 2 months. And because obviously most of the high-end targets were further up, they were building Fob Edinburgh at the time. So whilst I was getting built and we weren't getting used, we were fired. I think about 4 in FOB price within 2 months, if that. Where FOB Rob lads, Air Troop, were always getting like they were getting smashed. They were always getting used, you know. So whilst we were at FOB price, we got the news that obviously we're going to be moved back to Bastion. However, at Bastion, you'd be on call. So we get back to Bastion and we thought, like, where the fuck would we be put on call? Like, because obviously you've got the airfield there and whatnot. So what they did was they took us over past their runway, out of camp at Bastion, and literally our CP for a month was a poncho. And we were living there. Literally, we were fucking using Portaloo cabins getting dropped off and whatnot. And me. So I was at the time. I was the driver for Geordie Armisen, good guy. He was my DC. So that me, Geordie, obviously had Fred West there as well, and Cootsy, a new good lad. So and Michael Smith, Smudge. I won't say his nickname because obviously I don't look across.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? But you know which Smudge I'm on about.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He'd laugh his head off,
you know
mate.
which one I'm on about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, and we had Biss, a lad called Biss there as well. So that was us. We're literally out of Bastion, getting rations sent up to us and all that. And I tell you what, that was the longest month ever. Literally, like, we were just. I always remember we were just. It's a sandstorm constantly, and we're living out of ponchos, you know, back of Bastion where everybody else is getting all this cooked food, and we're thinking, fucking hell, like little bastards, you know. We're launchers, we should be looked after, you know, like we're an asset. We're getting spammed over here, you know. But a little story about that was so obviously we used the this Portaloo toilet. So at the time it was me, Geordie Armisen, and Smudge sat there at CP. We're waiting, like we're on call and that. And the little chokies come over and come and suck out all the shit. He only put it on blow, didn't he? So when he's sucking out, he put it on blow, and he came out and he had shit all over it. This guy came out black as black, full of shit and piss. And like I'll always remember, he came over. I was like, "My friend, my friend, my friend." And Smudge had to go over to him and rinse his face off, and he had the corner of his eye. He had a chunk of sweet corn. And Smudge is like wiping it all off like with this bottle of water on it. And I'll always remember the smell, because the heat as well for that full day. It was just horrible, mate. It was horrible, and like I'll always remember that. That guy came up like he put it on blow and suck. Yeah. So anyway, so from there, after that month there, we went up to FOB Edinburgh, and that's when we were getting used quite a bit. Another good thing, interesting fact, though, what happened on that tour as well, whilst we were at FOB Edinburgh, it was in our last month of the tour. Obviously, we used to get all our supplies brought in by Chinook and shit like that, and obviously escorted by Blackhawks. So for some strange reason, they didn't drop them. So they landed this time. So both like the Black Hawk and Chinook like landed, and we're getting all the shit off. And the Chinook took off first, and then the Black Hawk took up afterwards. But because of the downdraft of the Chinook's two blades, it forced the Chinook, the Black Hawk down, and it crashed outside, just literally outside. Oh, wow. Where we were staying. Luckily, the both pilots were safe and walked away from it. But it was left there for about 2.5 weeks because there's only one guy. What we got told, there's only one guy in the whole of the British islands who could disarm the missiles, because obviously they were live missiles. So this guy from Birmingham, I believe, who came over to. He was a civvy as well. and you get to disarm the missiles. So that was quite good. Like, a lot of lads got photos. We haven't got the footage of it happening, but we've got a lot of photos of the downed Black Hawk
I
where it
didn't know about
crashed.
that.
So yeah. So that was in the 2008 tour. So yeah, from then. After the tour, we decompressurized in Cyprus, Bloodhound Camp, and we were there with 2 para. And yeah, we were there with 2 para, and it got messy. We had a line. So on this hill, there's a massive hill, and we had all the Portaloos, and one of our lads, Forfey, or John, we were in it having a shit, and the 2 para lads tipped the Portaloo down the hill. So obviously he came out full of shit, and it started like World War III in Bloodhound Camp, like 176 against 2 paras, and it was messy. It was messy because we were there. We was getting pissed. We were being fed alcohol to get out of our system. But whilst I was there, I met my mate who I joined the army with, Dave Cowan, and we went 3 night together. I met his cousin who was 2 para. And I always remember, last time I seen him, he would have been about 12-year-old, and I was 16 when I left. And Carl was there. I was like, fucking, oh my God, like, you've grown. And I never knew you joined the army. So I was talking to him when all this happened. Me and him was sat back. I'm talking to Carl, talking about his granddad and his nana, and obviously his cousin Dave, his uncle Dave, and all that shit. And we was watching each other, like, all both batteries, just go for it. It was chaos.
It'd be like a bloody sitcom, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what did you think, the decompression bit, where you'd go back to Cyprus to decompress? Did you think that helped? Did you think it worked? Because, I mean, that was a fairly new thing. It never happened when I went on any tours or like that. We didn't get any decompression. We just got brought straight back. Sometimes you were straight onto another job or whatever. I've come back from long exercises and been deployed to Bosnia 2 days later and stuff like that.
I would say it did actually, Frank, and that's my honest opinion. Because yes, they were feeding alcohol to get out your system because you hadn't drank for 6 months or whatever it was, but you're only there for 2 days. If they kept you there, for say maybe a week or 2 to get out your system, to maybe do a trim practitioner's course and talk about mental health issues, talk about other things, then I think it would have helped a lot of guys. Because I'll go into the story in a bit, but I have suffered with mental health while serving, but nothing to do with that. But I have seen people who have left the military who have got mental health issues due to the fact of what happened in Afghan. So
after Afghan, after Afghan,
so after I got back from Afghan, it was quite quiet for the first 6 weeks. Obviously, leave, all that shit. Came back, and I was told, because I was newly promoted to full suite at the time, oh, do you fancy Harrogate? And I was like, oh, fucking too right. Like, I served there as a sprog. I'd love to go back there and obviously do it. So I accepted Harrogate. Anyway, went away, did my drill course, did some other courses, and I came back, and I was told I was getting Purbright. I was like, I didn't accept that. And they were like, did you not? No, I accepted Harrogate. And I said, I don't want to go there. And at this moment in time, I don't want to go there. So I turned it down. However, I was still booked on my my skill arms course. And so this is like further down the line. And at the time, 176 had just gone back out. So obviously it was like after a year, you'd gone back out. So within this time frame, they'd gone out. And I was getting kept back reserve because I was going to go to Harrogate. I was waiting for the pit to clear up. So anyway, 176 redeploy. and that, and I'm there, and I'm like on my skill at arms course, finish it all. On my way back up, the day I was driving back up, I got a phone call off the BC at the time. Where are you? I was like, I'm on my way back home. I know, obviously, I've looked at the dates and that, and obviously, I know you're going back up home. Can you be at Bryce Norton tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, why? He went, we've had an incident in Afghan. Like, I was wondering if you can come over and be a DC. And I was like, right, okay. So anyway, I got home, got on my kit, turned around, straight out Bryce Norton, got my granddad to drive me at the time, because obviously I couldn't leave my car. It was that quick. I was down Bryce Norton the next day. Get into theatre, and what I found out was the lad who was from TA, a lad called Youngie, he had gone on a fire mission by himself. He literally got the fire mission. He drove out the camp onto the firing point all by himself, left his crew there, and he got sacked. So obviously what had happened there, it was not allowed. So they sacked him and then dragged me out within, 24 hours?
I didn't know about that. That was kept pretty quiet then.
Yeah. And then obviously I've done Purbright as well. So I did 2 years at Purbright, which afterwards, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. 2 years at Purbright, because that was, for me, 2 years of knowing what I was going to be doing. You know, you had your training program, and that training program never really changed unless it really had to. So you knew when you were going to leave. You could book holidays way in advance and cheaper. You could do this, you could do that. You could plan your life and do what you want. Whilst I was there, though, I was living a single life. You know, I loved it. I loved it. I was single, in a way. I wasn't, but I was. And I came back. I left my first wife because I couldn't be asked with her no more. And yeah, and then I went to being a single lad again, and I loved it, Frankie. Like 2 years at Purbright, honestly, it was really good. You know. However, does beat Ireland for some strange reason? Nothing beats Ireland to me. Like, I think it's just because it's my first ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's your first tour. I mean,
to be honest,
I'm glad you enjoyed that one. My first tour, I suppose people of a certain age, the first tour they would have done was Ireland. Mine was the Maze, and it was we had a few things that were memorable, but it was fairly boring. It was just staggering on in towers, and if you went in that tower, you were in another tower, and if you went in that tower, you were moving to the next tower, and if you were QRF, you were waiting to go in the tower.
Yeah.
We got to go to Crumlin Road, Nick, and again, you were in towers. That was better there than it was at the Maze. There was more to look at. You know what I mean? But no, you always remember your first tour. But I was saying, mine was shit. So you had a better one. So you would get promoted after Fairbright then?
Yeah, well, so after Purbright, I got promoted a year later, actually, because when I rocked up back to regiment, sorry, they just done the promotions, so I had to wait. But then I picked up in 2013 as a sergeant. In 2013, and what we're in now, 2024. I left as a sergeant.
I did 27 years. I left as a full script.
However, I'm probably the only sergeant who you probably ever interviewed who's been on SEAL's orders as a sergeant 4 times. And got away with it.
Serving, be careful
in a way. Yeah, well, I know what you're saying, but I always remember one of the incidents. I won't go into all of them. What I'd done
allegedly.
But one of the incidents was, well, yeah. No. I've been honest. I've been honest with some of them. I have done, and I've been all of them. But this one, even to my dying day, this never happened. But I still got punished for it. So 176, we were going to go out to Canada to do an exercise, and they sent me over as a DC. Sent over the BQMS. Sent over a driver, and then sent someone over from 2-6 at the time. I don't know why he was coming to us. Anyway, we get to Canada. And my mate, he's a BC now, he's gone through the ranks, he's at LE, he's a BC, he's an RLC, X39 guy, Archie. And I met up with him, and he went back to his house, and we had a nice barbecue. I said, can I bring my friends? He was like, yeah, bring your friends. So I took my friends round, obviously, the lads, the staffy and that. And we get pissed, and we get a taxi back to camp. And I'll always remember, it never happened, but it was the way it was brought on me. And I was outside, I was having a fag. I was on this step, and I was like halfway on my feet, rocking over like this, smoking away. And then next minute, I get a bat from behind, like on my head, and I fall off this step. And I get back up, because obviously I was off balance anyway. I get back up, and there's a staffy in his lunch shack there. And I went, who the fuck hit me there? And they went, none of us. I went, fucking bullshit. Like, you're literally behind me. Like, what does it hit me? And anyway, I never hit him. I threatened him. Got back to camp after recce, because we didn't speak after that. And my BK got me in the office, Peter Armstrong. And he was like, Baz, come here, I want to have a word with you. I went, what's up? He went, what happened over there? I went, what do you mean? He went, well, so-and-so's writing statements against you now that you've hit them. I went, you what? He went, oh yeah. Like, you hit them? I went, no, sir, this is what happened. I've not said anything. I'm not being a crybaby and come and report it. I said, this is what happened. He went, make sure you tell the BSM at the time. So anyway, funny enough, half an hour later, I'm getting called into the BSM's office. Sam Seddon. She's like, you're this, you're that, you've done this, you've done that. I went, no, I haven't. And I swear down on my granddad's grave, never did it. And they're like, she was like, you have. I went, I haven't. I clearly haven't. Anyway, it was left at that, but I knew it was going to go further. So I got told to write a statement, what had happened. So I wrote all my shit and whatnot. So the BKMS next day is writing a statement. He's writing it there with the Lancashire who I've meant to hit as well. He's also there with a new lad who we could mate as mine, heard him talking, we'll write this, we'll write that, we'll write this, we'll write that. So they were talking about what they're going to be writing the statements. And this lad came up to me and I went, write me a statement in my favour. So he wrote that statement in my favour and I kept that quiet and didn't tell anyone. I kept it there. So anyway, weeks went by. Anyway, I get me charge pack. And I'm reading through his charge pack and I'm reading these statements against me. And there's one from this lad from 2-6 lad at the time. And he wasn't even there that night. So I phoned him up. I went, John, why have you wrote a statement against me? You weren't even there. He went, you are? I wrote a statement against you. I went, yeah, you wrote a statement against me saying that I hit so-and-so. He went, I haven't wrote that. I went, well, I've seen it here. It's right in front of me. It's signed by you. He went, Baz, I haven't done that. I have not done that. So I went, right, send me a quick email saying that you haven't wrote a statement and I'll print it out. So I had all that. And I sat up all night, Frankie, right, going through all these statements against me, and I picked up 27 points. And I sat there and I typed them all up. Point 1, point 2, all this shit, times that marry up, dates that marry up. And the last two was obviously a statement in my favour, and obviously what John had wrote email saying that he never wrote a statement against me or signed it. And no one knew about this. So I get marched into the CEO's office. Colonel Clements at the time.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Clements. Marched in front of him. And he's like, yeah, relax. Obviously, I've been on CEO's orders about 4 months prior to that. So I knew, so obviously, so he was like, oh, you again type thing. And I thought to myself, this isn't going to be a half-hour chat. This is going to be a lot longer. So anyway, I stood there, and he's reading all his charges against me and all that. He went, right, what have you got to say yourself? So I went to, obviously, the Louis at the time, Ludlow, who was there representing me. He went, right, Sergeant Swales got all these points. He wants to talk about all these points. We went in it. It was that long, all right, that I had to be matched up by the R7 3 times. It went on for 3.5 hours, all right. Anyway, cut long story short, got through the orders. I got matched back in. He had his burial at the time, and he went, right, you were very lucky that you should have been bussed. I wasn't bussed you when you came in here for obviously assault and doing this, and obviously it's your second time in a matter of whatever months that you're in front of me. And he went, however, I can't do that. I need to punish these other lads now because obviously you've got this against them, so I can't do that. Anyway, he took his berry off. After that, he went, right, that's it, done now. He went, tell me what happened. I went, I just told you. He went, right, I'm gonna fucking grip them. So yeah, I didn't get bussed for that.
No, we'll have a chat about that one afterwards, I think. I want to know a bit more. Yeah, right, so...
Gav Sprat, if you're listening, that's you, mate.
Right. Cut. No, we'll see. Right, so the regiment was then split up on it. So before they disbanded, bloody, I can't speak again. So there was rumours there was going to be disbandment. The regiment was going to be put to bed and stuff like that. How did you react to them rumours? Because it wasn't certain to start with, was it?
No, it wasn't certain, mate. And and obviously we didn't know what was happening. But then we got told. I can't remember the RSM at the time. Who the RSM was when we disbanded. He got all the seniors into the mess, and he was like, "Look, this is what's going to happen. All of you, as battery wise, are going to remain here, but you will be then managed by the regiments." So, I think for a lot of lads, it was like, yes, we're staying here, but then he had 176 going down, part of 16 who were based in Tidworth at the time. So again, they had to go down for cohesion days and all that stuff. Ourselves, part 26, we were going over to Germany quite a lot. And 19 Battery went to First Irish.
What a weird way of doing it.
So
what a weird way of doing it.
Sorry? It was, yeah, but obviously they knew the plan that they were all going to come back to give anyway.
Beats doing an arms clock, moving everyone over there, they're moving them back a year later, 2 years later.
So that was 2015, and then we moved down to as the batteries. We all moved down to Larkhill, 1st of August 2019, just before I leave. Because I always went because I signed my SFA at the time down there. So it was the 1st of August 2019. We all moved down, signed for our SFA, signed for our accommodations and hangars and stuff like that. Then we went on to leave, and then obviously then we're all back in as 2-6.
How was that? How did you get treated by them? It's almost an outside unit, even though you'd been part of the regiment for a while.
I thought, being truthfully, mate, that even though when we first went 2-6, and we were the only battery with MRS at the time, and they had all the other capabilities, that they made the regiment gel, to be honest. Even though we're based in Newcastle, the RSM was always on the phone to our BSM. All the seniors were always out, obviously over Manchester getting steaming. We're getting the lads over to go do Dempsey Cup training, boxing. So we were quite close. Anyway, we had 3 years to work on it. It was 3 years we worked on it, and the first time we went over there, it was a bit, fucking hell, 1v2 against 2-6. But within 3 years, we'd got that bond, if you know what I mean, Frank. We started to get relationships with the lads over there. You know, some of my good friends now are 2-6 through and through. You know, I very rarely speak to people from 3-9, just a few other people, and that's it really. So yeah, it did work in the end, but at first it was like, oh, we're 132, like we aren't gonna talk to yous and that. But I always remember was our first mess do as 2-6 because they brought in 176 back to 2-6.
Yeah.
It used to be 3-9, 132, 3-9, now 2-6. And then we had 19 Barry, 3-9, now 2-6. So basically like 3-9, but now it's 2-6. So basically, first mess do, all the seniors are there, and the only battery, which was 2-6 originally, was 5-5 battery. And we're having a seniors photo, we're all going 3-9, 3-9, 3-9, and the RSM had to like stop us like from doing it because we're all going 3-9 because it was like 3-9 back together, if you know what I mean. But now we're in 2-6. It's the worst mistake that the government did was close down 3-9 because big mistake because where it is now it is 3-9 but under 2-6.
So Larkhill very different to Albemarle. Better or worse?
It is, mate. Yeah, it is. I enjoyed my time though in Larkhill, to be honest, because obviously I think it's because I had a house there, which I just moved out. But I've stayed in the local area. I've moved into a nice little village called Bowerchalk, back of Wilton, middle of nowhere. It's like Emmerdale, middle of nowhere. But Larkhill itself, like obviously it was all new buildings. The SFA, I was the first occupant in that house. I was handed it over last Wednesday, and it's brand new. You honestly, the houses that they built up, yes, they were rushed up, so we had a lot of issues, but you couldn't fault it. You know, they've done a lot. So people like who left 6-7 years ago. Remember the driving range? That's where I was living on SFA. Yeah. So the old driving range, as you drove up on the right hand side, that's where there's 457 houses built there now.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and I was always known as Baz Blue House because as you drove down, the first blue house on the estate was mine. So I'd been in Baz Blue House. I don't know.
So I imagine Larkhill's changed considerably since I was last year, which should have
massively changed. And like I say, you've got at the bottom now. So I think it only went as far as the Packway, but after the Packway, it's extended right down towards Rawson Camp, where you've got like 4 hangars in the row. So you've got first down there in one big massive row. You've got then it's 2-6 in the middle. Then you got 16, and then you've got Remy. It's just honestly, it's massive garrison now. So people who left like 6-7 years ago come down. It's like a maze to them. However, it does work well for duty wise as well, because obviously it's a garrison, but you hardly even do any duties there now, because obviously there's that many people there, senior wise and shit. It was quite good. Where back by yourself in 3-9 or 2-6 based in Albemarle, you're always doing duties.
So first have moved from Tidworth to Larkhill.
First are there, 16 are there, 2-6 are there, 3-2 are there, 4-7 there, and obviously you've got 14 reg.
Jesus.
It's absolutely massive. Yeah. So remember where the washdowns was? At the bottom of camp, basically that's where camp ended, weren't it? If you're stood now looking at the washdowns in front of you, to the left of it, that's where the whole new camp is. It's massive. You got the biggest gym in the British Army there as well, obviously because it has to hold for 3 regiments. So obviously you've got 3-2 and 4-7 sharing the Sprogs gym, but 2-6 first and 16 we've got the new gym. It's amazing, state of the art.
Is there much rivalry though? So if you go to say a garrison town like Colchester, like Carrick, or any of the ones that used to be in Germany, we all had our own pubs, we all had our own nightclubs. other units didn't go into them and stuff like that. You know, is there anything like that at Larkhill now? Or is it still just a pack?
No, not really, mate. Because obviously back in the day it was called Wilson's, weren't it? It's now called it's called the Pack Horse now, and obviously that's the only pub there still. And no, there's no issues, mate. To be honest, I've not heard any issues there. There's always that bit of fighting, or not fighting in that kind of way, but to book the gyms and to book courts and stuff like that, you know, and the training wing, because we share all that shit as well. So it's a bit of a tit for tat. Oh, we need this, we need that for this reason. So it is a bit of a nightmare that way, but no, mate, it works well, to be honest. Which I'm gobsmacked.
Right, I'd like to go back to something you said right at the very beginning of this. You said you wanted to tell a story about, was it your uncle?
Oh yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, like I was saying, like my granddad had his brother served, and one of my great uncles was part of the RAF, and he was out in Middle Asia at the time, and his whole squadron got killed basically. And the way he escaped was he had jumped off the ship and swam. And he kept swimming. And he was picked up by a Danish fishing vessel, which then took him to Australia. So my great nan and great granddad at the time were informed that obviously he was lost in action, and he stayed there for 3 years of the war. And then when he came back after the war had finished, and my great uncle Jack had walked in, they were like gobsmacked. They thought he was dead. Not heard from him.
Been in touch with him?
Nah. He hadn't been in touch with him. And obviously, he was only a young lad at the time, and they're told that he was missing in action and shit, and they thought he was dead. And he walked in, but 3 years later, wherever it was, being stood up in Australia and shit. And when he died, he died 2020, and he was like 96-year-old. Because of his background and all that, they did a fly past where so when he died, he was going into church. I can't tell you airplane. You can Google it. The airplane flew over and dipped its wings and bowed his wings while he was carrying it to church.
Cool, that's cool.
Because he was the last ever survivor of that squadron to die. So they wanted to pay tribute.
I mean, it's not cool that he died, but I mean, it's good innings.
Yeah,
that's quite cool. That is.
Yeah.
So we've been all over the world with you. We've been in lots of camps. So what's the future going to hold for you? Because you're coming. I mean, you are, like you mentioned a couple of times there. You're right at the end of your service now.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm currently doing resettlement at the moment, and I felt really lucky actually. I did my CTW, and I went straight onto LinkedIn. Put all my information on LinkedIn, and at first I thought I'm wasting my time. It'd be like Facebook or whatever, you know. But within 2 weeks, I got recruited by a company called Enado UK, which does like aerospace, engineering, cybersecurity, and whatnot for the British Army and that, and based at Rawson Camp. So I went. The woman was like, "Do you fancy applying?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll apply, but like I've got all qualifications, like in what you're after." She went, "No, we can train you. Don't you worry. Like you got some qualifications, obviously, you know." I was like, "Right, okay, I'll go for the interview." So 4 weeks later, just before December, I went for this interview at Awesome Camp. Sat chatting away, and I went to the guy who was in interviewing me. I went, "Look, I want to be brutally honest with you. I've always been honest about everything." I said, "I'm currently doing my visa to move to Australia, and I know that your company have got a place in Rockingham in Perth. What happens if my wife does get this job as a mental health nurse over in Australia, which we're still planning on doing, but now we've delayed it now for 2 years. We'll stay here now for 2 years. I went, however, if I get it, what's the chance of me moving into your Leonard UK in Rockingham? He went, that's only if you're lucky in that. I went, yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you. And anyway, he just said, right, I'll let you know if you've been successful after the new year. And I went back home and I was like, to my wife, Leanne, I went, I ain't got that. I said, I was just brutally honest to him. I told him I'm moving to Australia and all that and shit like that. She went, oh, you fucking haven't. I went, oh, I have, yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. Anyway, I got a phone call on the 23rd of December. You've got the job. And I was like, nah. They went, you've got the job. And I was like, really? I went, Nigel, really? Like, please, like, tell me, like, he went, Barry, you got the job. And I was like, wow. I went, how many went for the job? He went, 76. I went, so you just took me on? He went, oh no, I've took one more person on, but I'm taking you on as well. I went, well, why? He went, I'll take your character. You're brutally honest with me, you know? And he went, and the question that you did ask me about Australia, yes, we'll get you over there as well. You can transfer into them as well. I was like, wow. So really, mate, I've landed on my feet, you know? I start there on the 7th of May this year, and I can't wait, mate, to be honest. It's a new challenge for me, you know, and hopefully it will get me out to Australia.
So what are you going to be doing?
I'm going into cybersecurity world within the company.
You'll enjoy it.
So yeah. So it's just one of the things, mate. Like I've looked into it. I've got a lot of training to do, and they've already told me, look, like obviously you're gonna have to do this, you're gonna have to do that, but you can't start it until you're officially out. To start all these courses and all that. But they went, look, within 6 months or so, you'd be on the road, you'd be doing this, you'd be doing that. I was like, wow. Good thing about it as well, I'm going straight into the same wage I'm on now, plus my pension. So it's going to be better off for me as well.
Pension's lovely, mate, honestly.
So
it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just turned 55, so my pension's just jumped up because I took that lump sum when I got out, and it's good. You need it to survive sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, cybersecurity is an interesting job, mate. It's good. I deal with parts of it myself every now and again. Obviously, I work in IT, you know that, but it's you'll learn quite a bit, and you'll be quite shocked at some of the stuff. Put it this way, keep your passwords safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going back to the resettlement, then, do you think, because you've just gone through it, right? I mean, I know when I left, it was pointless. It really was. It didn't really. The army didn't really help me. I mean, they sent me on, you know, that was about it. But the CTW and stuff like that, I did a resettlement course, which was, I could have done without it, to be honest. But I've spoken to lots and lots of people on the podcast, and we've discussed resettlement. And a lot of people have said, you know, it didn't really, it wasn't so much that the resettlement didn't help, it's just that the army, or let's say the regiment you were with at the time, didn't really care. Because once you're gone, you're gone. You know, you're just off their books and type of thing. Nobody cares, not really. You're not given the time to resettle. People should be resettling the day after they join the army, basically. I mean, that's where some people say it. But I feel as though the regiments, don't know what it's like now, but back in my day, and I say my day, I sound really old. The regiments didn't give you the time. They didn't help you. They kind of weren't interested. But everyone's got a job to do. I mean, doing the career management stuff, we try to help people, but half the time we couldn't really do much. How did you feel about that?
So with my settlement, mate, is that I've had to do it myself, really. My chain of command, currently, I don't get on with the BSM. Never have done. He's a little tit, to be honest. And he knows that. We don't talk. Like, I don't have his number saved. We hate each other. So he's always been out for me in a way. And he doesn't like it that I've told him straight, like, this was what's happening, and stuff like that. So in a way, I've not had that support from him, but the rest of my chain of command have supported me, you know. And I saved a lot of leave up prior to going on my resettlement as well. So what I've done is I saved on my leave. I did loads of duties over Christmas and stuff like that to take my leave, because I thought myself, I'm not going to do resettlement whilst I'm still serving. I'm still serving now, yes, in a way, but I thought with my GRT days, determination and my individual leave and all that, I'll leave on my last day of unit and then start my resettlement. So that's what I did, Frankie. I served until my last day in unit. Then I went on my resettlement because I knew if I'd started doing courses whilst I'm still writing MPARs and SGRs and all that kind of stuff, it would have dramatised me in a bit more, stressed me out more. Because like imagine me on a course, doing a course, switching off, and going back 2 weeks later to writing SGRs and that, and then I'd be thinking, oh fucking hell, what did I learn? You know what I mean? So the way I've done it is that I saved it all. I wait till my last day in unit, then start my resettlement.
That's a pretty good way to do it, to be honest. Because you're not distracted by anything else.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Yeah, go on.
So, and that's where I've done it, and I've like I say, I log on now and then on the laptop because I'm still serving, but I'm just getting left alone now because I'm obviously on resettlement now, and I'm doing whatever I want now, mate.
So when's your last day?
It's one of the things.
Your actual last day. Right, so I'll make sure this comes out after that.
That's fine, mate. No.
I think it will be anyway, to be honest. I've got that many to edit and that many already uploaded. It probably will on the back end of May anyway.
Yeah.
So, looking back over your whole time in the army, would you do it all again?
I would, mate, yeah. Definitely. However, if I was joining now, though, due to obviously what's happening now with pensions and stuff like that, no.
Right.
So if it was still like the 65 scheme and stuff like that, then yes. Because obviously we've got a good deal and that there. But now I don't think I would, mate. If it was the old rights, pension rights, then yeah, I would.
What's the difference then?
And that's it.
What's the difference?
Eh? So you well, I'm not. I don't even. I can't really remember, Frank. But I know that it's stuff like you got to do so many years to get your pension. Now you got to get a certain rank to get your pension, and it's so much. I don't know. Like a lot of people are flapping that you don't get immediate pension. We get immediate pension with 65 scheme. So it's something like that. And the only downside I've ever had in my whole career is bullies. Now, I've been a victim of being bullied. I won't say no names on this podcast. However, I suffered with depression due to being bullied. I had one BSM who CDT got called. So CDT got called. I was then put onto the tables, and I was taking people's samples and all that shit. And I was dying for a piss. I was like, fucking hell, like I need to go. So I went to the next table along, and I got the piss monitor to go take me for a piss. Cut so short, did it all. Finished. CBT packed up and all that, and they're still packing up. I went back over to the battery because I was only senior from when we were doing it. I was like, that's it, sir. All our guys have been through. And he went, have you been through? I went, yeah. He went, who took you through? I went, what do you mean who took me through? I said, I've done it. He went, I don't fucking believe you. Get outside my fucking office now. And I was thinking, what the fuck? So I got outside his office. He went, get the fuck outside, actually. Stand to attention. And I'm like, he's me as a senior NCO, getting told to stand to attention whilst he's briefing his stand shack up, asking if he watched me piss. And then he literally came out, marched me over to the fucking gym in front of the regiment. I walked in, and he was like, right, go and tell him now you're going to do a new sample. So I went over to the sergeant major at the time, and I went, look, I need to do a piss test. He went, mate, I've closed. Like, what's your name? So I told him my name. I went, you've done it. I went, well, that's what BSM. He wants to physically watch me do it. I don't know why. I've never done drug in my life. Still to this day, I've not done drug in my life. And he was like, well, okay, I'll do one. I'll do it for you. So, going to the toilet, BSM stood there watching me. I'm pissing. He went, shit yourself now, are you, Baz? I went, why am I shitting myself? I said, I've never done drug in my fucking life. You call me a druggie, like. He went, no. He said, I just don't believe that you've done one. So, and I feel like you're flapping. I went, I ain't flapping, mate. So, go back, give it all to this guy, the Sergeant Major. He fucking ticks my name off again and all that. And the BSM goes, get outside the gym and wait for me. So I'm thinking, what the fuck? So he's talking to this other Sergeant Major. And I stood there for like a minute and I thought, fuck this shit. He's bullied me for months and months and months. Fuck him. So I started walking to the car park. And he comes out and, oi, Baz, get the fuck back here. I was turning around and went, yeah, fuck off you fucking prick. And I just went to my car and I drove off camp. And I thought to myself, right, I've been bullied and shit like that for months. And I went to the med centre the next day. And I went, look, I said, I don't feel right in the head. I don't want to be nowhere near him. He's done this, he's done that, done that. So he sent me down to RAF near Catterick.
Leaming.
Oh.
Yeah.
RAF Leaming, that's it. And I went down to the DCMH on there. So at DCMH, I'm doing all this like assessments and all that. And I thought, yeah. Came back and the results went, you got severe depression. And I was like, really? They went, oh yeah, you got severe depression. I went, how? Like, I feel okay. That's why I was getting bullied off my BSM. That's why no. What you've answered, you got severe depression. And obviously, I told them the situation. I told them with the issue with my BSM, and they went, right, until he is out or being investigated, you're not to serve back there again. So I was sent away for 90 days. I was on leave for, and then if it was 91, I was going to get whitelisted. So now I had to go back in for one more day, and I got to do a 2 month off until he was out of the regiment.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's in a way how I met Leanne, my wife, who is now a mental health nurse. I've never had a relapse. I have days where I feel a bit shit myself, but who doesn't? You know.
So how did the regiment treat you when you come back from that?
Well, I came back and the BC at the time put me straight on a 3-month warning order for missing a dental appointment, which I didn't even book. And I was like, fucking hell, is this what's happening? Like, fuck me. Like, I didn't book that. Like, I've not even booked that at all. I was coming in my first day. The BC's there. The BC's there with the new BSM.
He's waiting for you.
And he's like,
waiting for
I have to match you in. Yeah. So they wait for me. And then until he left, it was after he left. It was fine.
Yeah, you can see what happened there, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. Not really.
No, well, I mean, the future holds brighter things for you, mate. To be honest, it's a different world. It is a different world.
Thank you.
And you will love it.
Can't wait, mate.
Right, I think we've come to the end of this podcast now. It's been an hour and a half. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Say hello to anyone or anything like that?
I'm right, Frank. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I think,
all right, I'll stop the recording
Peace.
now. 2 secs.